Hello and welcome back. In this part, we're going to explain shadowing in Rust. First, let me get outside of the constants. Let's go to the 8 shadowing. And let me do cargo init. All right. First of all, let's explain what shadowing is. So the last two concepts are very clear: constants and variables. Now shadowing is not very clear, right? Even the word is not clear. What shadows what exactly, and what the shadow has to do in programming. Okay, so as the Rust book tells us here, you can declare a new variable with the same name as a previous variable. So again, there was the guessing name tutorial. This was in chapter 2. I didn't cover that because, there was a lot of stuff that was not covered yet. So I think guessing game should come after we explain the basics. I don't know why they did it this way in the book. But anywho, they say here that you can declare a new variable with the same name as a previous variable. And Rusticians say that the first variable is shadowed by the second. I'm going to explain that by an example, which means that the second variable is what the compiler will see when you use the name of the variable. Okay, what's all that means? Let's take actually this example right here. All right, simply what this means, if you have a variable here that it's x, okay, x equal to number 5. Now, if you will create or if you will declare a new variable with the same name x, and you're going to take x, which was previously declared with the value of 5, and add to it 1. Then naturally, this x will equal to 6, right? This is exactly what shadowing is all about. Basically, what you have done is that this second variable, x, which actually is this x, right? So both of them are old, if you want to say. And that's the new x. So that's the first and that's the second. The first was shadowed by the second. So the first x was shadowed by the second x. Or the first variable with the same name was shadowed by the second variable with the same name. And when you will print x, the compiler in Rust is going to read only this number 2. You can do shadowing again. You can do let x equal to x plus 1. And this is going to be 7, exactly. Because we have first here, we have 6. If you will do the same line again, it's going to be 7. If you want to increase this to not 1 but 2, for example, it's going to be 8, and so on. And you're going to continue to shadow and shadow and shadow. So shadowing simply means that you create a variable with the same name and you are shadowing the first one. So that's it simply. The second variable is what the compiler will see when you use the name of the variable. And in our case, it's x. So the second variable here overshadows the first and takes any uses of the variable name to itself. You are shadowing the first by creating a second. And you're taking the first and incrementing it by 1, multiplying by 2, or doing whatever. So that's here outside. If we have a different code block inside our main function, we have let x equal to x multiplied by 2, okay? In that case, the actual result of this is going to be 6. This 6 is going to be replaced by that x here, right? And multiplied by 2 and stored in that new variable, which has completely shadowed the first one, right? So we have x, 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 and the 3 are different basically. The first one is 5, the second one is 6, and the third one is 12. So let me just add here a comment. This result is, of course, 5, 6, and here result is 12 exactly. So that's the concept of shadowing in Rust. So let's go ahead and run that. First, let me just delete this. Okay. Let's do cargo run. Compiling, and you can see that the value of x in the inner scope is 12. That's exactly what we have said. Here, this is 12, okay? And the value of x is 6, okay? So the value of x in main function. Okay, one more very important point, that shadowing is different from marking a variable as mute. Okay, so shadowing is not the same as marking a variable as mute or mutable, yeah, mutable. Okay, how so? Simply, if you accidentally try to reassign to this variable without using the let keyword, you will have a compile time error. If you will simply do like that, x equal to 10, if you will try to run that, you will have a compile error or compile time error. It tells you here that cannot assign twice to immutable variable. Okay, so first assignment to x, that was here, where the result is 6. And the other difference between mute and shadowing is that because we are creating a new variable when you use the let keyword again, so you used it here, then you used it here, then we can use it again. We can say let x equal to x multiplied by 1,000. Okay, and if you'll do like that, or even we can keep it like that, take a look, you will have here 6,000, right? That's in the main function. So you're allowed to use the let keyword as many times as you want if you want to do shadowing. You have actually changed the type of the value, but reused the same name, the same x name here, but changed the value inside. Okay. There was a very cool example here, that about the spaces. So it tells you here that say our program asks a user to show how many spaces they want between some text by inputting space characters, and then we want to store that input as a number. So let spaces equal to a number of spaces we don't know, and then we're getting the length of the spaces. So the first spaces variable is a string type, but the second spaces variable is a number type. So shadowing spares us from having to come up with different names such as space stir, space name. It's going to be spaces, but you're actually changing what you want to be in that spaces variable. And that's the beauty, or that's the power of shadowing, I may say. So instead we can reuse the simpler spaces name, exactly. However, if you try to use mute for this, we will get a compile time error. So if you'll try to put mute in front of spaces and just see the error, you can see here that mismatched types, first of all, and then after for those spaces between double quotes, an expected answer, that's a slice string, found unsigned size. So this was shadowing, guys. If you have any questions, if it's still unclear for you, this part is theoretical. Still, it's very, very important. I know sometimes it's boring, but it's very important. You need to know those basics, because without the basics, you will not be able to code yourself. Okay? So that's a little tip for you. So that's it for this lesson, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next part.